call it the hungry food or the hungry kid test, where if I wouldn't feel comfortable throwing it out in front of a hungry kid, then it's food that I have to eat. But like I would throw a banana peel away in front of a hungry kid. So that means it's okay to go in the compost, right? But I wouldn't throw half a banana away in front of a kid.
Of course. Yeah. Well, you know, the very first line of your book reads, well, sorry, before the point about the husband, the page before that, it says, "To every mother who has lost a child to hunger." Now, that immediately really quite clearly states the sentiment and your intentions behind this book. And as you've already suggested as well, you know, there should be no one with the amount of food waste here in our Western countries. You know, in Australia, we waste on average $2,500 of fresh produce a year per household. You know, if we all donated $2,500 worth of produce to a family in need, imagine the impact that could have. That's obvious, right? But also there are other reasons why we should be monitoring our food waste, aren't there?
Oh yeah, so many. You know, people think if you compost the food, then it's like gone through this regeneration cycle of like reincarnation into a new food. But it doesn't work that way at all. Like when we grow food, we're using pesticides and fertilizer and water, and we're causing deforestation. So we have land to plant the food and then, or raise it, and then we package it in plastic and we deliver it in trucks, and then we throw it away, and food releases greenhouse gases as it rots. So it's so damaging to the planet and so expensive, and like we don't get anything out of it. There's so many things we do to hurt the planet for like selfish needs, you know, that we get something out of it. But this is like, there's no benefit. It's just making this huge sacrifice and hurting the planet at the same time.
What do you say to people when they say, oh, it's all too hard when it comes to zero food waste? It's all too hard. What's your response to them?
Well, everything's hard at first when you build new habits. And zero food waste is hard, but drastically changing your life is really not that difficult. Just thinking a couple steps ahead of like, how much do I really need to buy? How much am I really going to eat? You know, making sure you make a recipe correctly and that you don't burn it, and when to freeze it. I think anyone can cut their waste in half overnight. Like, read this book and then cut it in half. But shooting for zero, I think, has a lot of value, because if you don't push yourself past what you think you can do, you'll never know how far you can go with something. And so having this firm commitment to zero pushed me past my limits and got me to the point where I was able to save a lot more than I ever imagined.
Do you grow a lot of food yourself at home as well? I mean, you know, some of the easiest ways to avoid wasting fresh produce is to go out and pick what you need when it's there. And you were just talking before about the importance of, you know, well, I suppose composting in a way. But when I think about food and I think about food supply, I think that we underrate how important nutritious soil is, naturally nutritious as well. And if we are growing things that we need, where we're not stripping the soil with all the nutrients, and if we're not over harvesting and we're just doing moderately within our own backyards, I think that ensures that we reduce our waste, but at the same time we've got nutritious food as well.
Absolutely. And you know, if you grow it in your own house or in your own yard, then it doesn't have to get transported to you. You're not using, you know, machinery to harvest it. You can share it with the people around you, because most farmers usually get a surplus. So even if you're eating the same amount of food, even if you're wasting the same amount of food, growing it yourself makes a huge difference.
We'll come back after the break with more from Terralyn Pilgrim, new book out, No Scrap Left Behind. What are your zero waste or food waste suggestions? 8223 0000.
Need a new TV before Christmas? Right now at Harvey Norman, get the best deal, plus bonus local delivery before Christmas on selected in-stock TVs. That's right, bonus local delivery before Christmas, guaranteed. Save $500 on LG OLED Smart TV, plus bonus local delivery. Don't miss more hot deals on big brands. Plus, if it's in stock, we'll deliver it before Christmas, guaranteed. Hurry, offer ends Sunday at Harvey Norman. Best brands, best range, best prices. Conditions and exclusions apply.
If you love seafood, remember this name, Perissos Seafoods, your destination for new season Spencer Gulf prawns starting, oh my goodness, $99. Sorry, oh my God, even better. Starting from $19.90 per kilo, Themis. Got that one right. And get this, they've all been caught much cheaper. They've all been caught on local boats called Nicole, Bowie J and Michelle, all based in Port Lincoln. Love the names.
So when you buy from Perissos Seafood, you're buying the freshest seafood South Australia has to offer. And if you buy a 5 kilo box of prawns, you'll save up to $4.90 per kilo. They also have the freshest caught crayfish in a variety of sizes starting at $89.90 per kilogram. Fresh Pacific oysters available at $21.90 per dozen, including whole snapper, local and New Zealand at $27.90 per kilo.
Bargain. So grab a pen, write this number down to order over the phone, 8447 4177. That's 8447 4177, or visit in-store 68 Langham Place at Port Adelaide. So you have to get your orders in by this Sunday so you can pick up just in time for Christmas Eve.
When you're hosting a family Christmas party, you might start with a go-to roast, a drama-proof seating plan, and that gravy recipe that's a family secret. But those in the know find all the answers in the aisles at Pal's. Sam and Jamie from Parafield Airport Liquor Store know every drop on the shelf. They can make sure you have the best wines, beers and spirits for everyone. And great gift ideas too, all under one roof. Parafield Airport Liquor Store, Pals, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Today we're making Medicare stronger with more investment in bulk billing, enhanced support for mental health and more urgent care clinics. Learn more about Medicare benefits at medicare.gov.au/stronger. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
If home is where your heart is, and if home is where you want to be, then home is where you can stay. My Care Solution supports you to live independently at home as you get older. You'll have a small, local care team ready to assist you based on your own individual needs. So if home is where you want to be, then home is where you can stay. Contact us to learn about our new client offer, available for a limited time. Search My Care Solution today.
A potential vaccine to fight a bacteria responsible for life-threatening pneumonia in the very young and elderly has been developed in South Australia, and Fusion Clinical Research has been asked to trial this vaccine. For this important study, Fusion is seeking people aged 70 and over. If you want to take part in this important trial, go to fusiontrials.com.au or call Fusion on 08 7077 6996. You will be paid for your time.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
FIVEAA Afternoons with Angie McBride.
Chatting to Terrelyn Pilgrim, new book out, No Scrap Left Behind, My Life Without Food Waste. What are the markets like in Oregon? Because here in Adelaide, Terrelyn, I mean, we're very lucky. We've got the beautiful central market here in the city, fresh fruit, fresh meat everywhere, very little packaging. Then we've got the produce markets out at Paraka, and then there's a lot of farmers markets in communities. What's it like in your hometown?
So I live in an area where people are very environmentally conscious, but I feel like we're transitioning into what you just described, that there's an effort to be more sustainable, but I wouldn't say that we, as of now, live in a sustainable culture. Like, for example, there's a grocery store that the power went out and they threw away every single refrigerated thing that they had instead of donating it. Like, and that's just kind of how America is, you know, like something is inconvenient or it's not quick and easy to deal with, so you just throw it out.
Is that a fear of like, you know, legal ramifications there as well? Is that because they don't, you know the food safety of the food? Because here in Australia, in fact, now we've had organisations like Oz Harvest and other major charities actually really lobby the government to make it easier for restaurants and so forth to give food to the leftovers to guess if they've bought it, they can take it home. For a while there was a lot of, I suppose, apprehension around people taking food home out of the fear of food safety. So is that part of what drives that in America as well, in that instance of the supermarket too?
Yeah, so we actually have a law called the Good Samaritan Law, where if you donate food in good faith, you cannot be sued. And no one has ever attempted to sue anyone for donated food. But very few people are aware of that law, and so very few people are going out of their way to learn what can be done with this food and, what the legal protections are for them.
Can you be a good Samaritan in your own home as well? Can I donate food? I'm even looking at Angie when I think about this right now. Can I take food out of my own fridge and take it to I've never thought about it like that. I think about it from our restaurants and from our cooking school, and we donate food that's been left over. Sometimes we cook food that we're using the leftover produce as well and donate that. Could I just take food out of my own fridge and kind of go, I've got 4 litres of milk here that I'm not going to drink, I'm just going to take it somewhere? Do you think people can and should do that, Angie?
Yeah. I agree. But is that how the Good Samaritan law can work as well, Terralyn?
I've never heard it apply to individuals. I'm sure it would protect them. I've donated food out of my own kitchen that hasn't been opened. So, like, if it's packaged, then that's not... And we have canned food drives all the time. Yeah. But as far as, like, if you make a meal and you've got half of it left over, I don't know of any resources of what you can do with that.
Yeah, we're very lucky here in that sense. Now, Terralyn, Christmas Day is coming up. There's always so much food, all the turkey, all the yams, all the, in America, yams. So what are some of the things that you've changed in the past sort of couple of years with your Christmas dinner? Not soggy bread, because your husband wouldn't have that. But did you have a couple of Christmas Day tips on making food go further and not wasting it?
Yeah, so I love that question because in the last Thursday of November, we have a holiday called Thanksgiving,
yes,
where we make a huge meal. So yesterday, we just finished off the last of our Thanksgiving leftovers. So we don't have any broth left or any pie left, yeah. And the thing is, anytime you have a holiday or a party, you're going to make a surplus of food, right? And I'm not going to ask people to cook less, but you do have to have a plan of what you're going to do with it. If you make a casserole, you got to think to yourself, would I be willing to finish this whole thing by myself? Or, I'm going to end up freezing this whole thing and eat it several weeks later, Don't make so much food that you're going to get sick of it beforehand. And that's really applicable to everyday life. Just planning a couple of steps ahead makes a huge difference.
You just said I'm not going to ask people to cook less food. Why not? Why don't we? Why don't we say, actually...
We eat too much.
Yeah, exactly. Multiple things would benefit there. We'd save money, right? We would actually eat less, which would probably help our waistlines because, us Aussies and Americans, we don't have the smallest waistlines these days. And at the end of the day, there would be multiple benefits. You'd have less wastage by simply cooking less and you'd have more money in your pocket. Maybe that is a reasonable strategy, Terralyn, to be honest.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to clarify. I was just referring to holidays and parties.
Yeah, of course.
But even with that, because
everyday stuff.
Yeah, well, and Terralyn, with our friends and Themis, we always say we always have too much food. Let's not order as much. Let's just not do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And because, what's the point of having so much that, it becomes a burden or a headache if it's going bad so fast that you can't even get to it.
Exactly, and we just end up eating more food at the end of the day. So it's actually it just made me think about it slightly differently. We always come up with strategies to waste less, but maybe we should just think about it.
And I think Terralyn and Themis, people in Australia are pretty good. We're always trying to figure out ways how many things, and I suppose that is the beauty of Christmas. You can do a million things with ham, can't you? You can do ham sandwiches, you can make pea and ham soup, you can make quiches, and even with leftover turkey. And there's so many ways with those that you can do lots of different things. Is that the same in America, Terralyn? Do you do the ham and the turkey?
Yeah, it's usually like turkey for Thanksgiving, ham for Christmas, and, most people think that the way you cook a thing is the way you have to eat it, but like what you just described, that's kind of where it starts to be fun when, you're presented with this food and you got to think of some creative way to turn it into something else to make it more interesting, and that's a very important skill for any home cook to learn.
I'm going to ask a question now that might be slightly controversial to the listeners here as well in our little state. Do Do you think we make it too easy to waste food? Now, I say that because we have garbage pickups every week here, and we've got really large bins, and we put them out on the curb, and they get picked up, and if they're not picked up in a certain hour of the day, we sit here and we say, we pay our rates and taxes, why is my bin not picked up soon enough, and rah, rah, rah. At the end of the day, I kind of think to myself, if my bin was smaller, I might waste less, or if my bin didn't get picked up so frequently, I might waste less as well. And I just think, even in apartments, and everyone's living in high density living these days, the apartments have just got bin chutes that they just throw rubbish down. Is it too easy to waste product now? Do we make it too easy?
Yeah, absolutely. So in South Korea, they don't have enough room for landfills, so they used to throw all their food in the ocean, and it became illegal. So they're like, what are we going to do? We need to cut down on our waste because we have nowhere to put it. And so they started doing all these initiatives. And, Korea used to waste a lot just because of the way they cook. They'll make like a whole bunch of different foods for each meal. But now they waste very little. And the town of Seoul actually charges people a small fee for the food that they waste.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Legislative change, creating pretty clear change there.
Well, there was something here a few weeks ago, Terrell, and one of the councils was going to charge people if they brought their bins in late. And so there was a massive outcry there. So I bet if they tried to do that here in Australia, there would be outcry. Mm-hmm. Well, how do you know it's my bin? How do you know I put it in there? So it's all those things are great, but trying to sell it to the people is always difficult, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why actually consumers waste 45% of the food that's wasted. You would think that it would go toward, it'd be farms and restaurants, but it's us. And part of the reason is that you can't pass laws to get consumers to behave properly like you can big companies. They can do whatever they want, and so we kind of have to inspire people one person at a time, really, and then just give them the tools that they need so that they even know how to make these changes.
No, you're spot on. There's a lot of discussion about the way we live here in our state. There's the cost of living crisis. There's a lot of discussion about where you can park your car, how long you leave your bin out for. Even the size of garages these days is being assessed now in planning. So I do think there are a few little things we can do from a planning perspective to adjust consumer behaviours. But before we let you go, one last question. If you could have one tip for anyone who wants to reduce their food waste, what would that one tip be?
The most important tip is not to buy too much. It really, that alone makes such a big difference, because if you have more, everything you buy has a timestamp, and if you can't get around to it in time, then it doesn't matter how good you are at upcycling and freezing and all that stuff. It's, you're kind of dooming yourself to failure.
Yeah, you're actually 100% spot on. We're always dealing with the end problem, aren't we? But, let's not create the problem to begin with.
Terrell, as well, before I let you go, what do you know about Australia? So when you got this request through to talk to a couple of people in Adelaide, what do you know about us?
Most of what I know comes from Bluey, because my kids love that show.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
Well, the Queensland government are using Bluey as a marketing tactic these days in Tourism Australia and everything. So, hey, if Bluey puts us on the map, it's not a bad thing, is it?
And real blue heelers are pretty good dogs. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, they are.
I just went and patted my kangaroo before I came into the studio as well, by the way.
My koala's at my desk. Terrell, it was absolutely lovely chatting to you. Your book, No Scrap Left Behind, by Terrell and Pilgrim. Pop online, and it's through hcibooks.com, but Amazon and all those places sell it. Good little Christmas present if people are looking at food waste. Terrell, thank you so much, and Merry Christmas.
All right, thanks. Merry Christmas to you too.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Good afternoon, Mel Usher with the latest news headlines. SA Health is reporting a second meningococcal case in less than a week. The parent companies of Facebook, Google and TikTok will be covered by a new measure aimed at forcing platforms to pay for news content. Tributes today for veteran radio and television broadcaster Clive Robertson, who's died at the age of 78. And in sport, in the AFLW, Adelaide has delisted Jess Waterhouse and Tamara Henry. The 5AA forecast, sunny this afternoon, cloud clearing tomorrow, 29. Right now it's 25 degrees. We'll have more news at 4 and As It Happens on 5AA.
G'day, I'm Mike.
G'day, it's Jack.
Hi, it's Jazz here. I listen to 5AA on the 5AA player.
Whilst I walk the dog, I can listen to 5AA.
The clean sound is so much better than AM transmission.
I just love it. I just love that I can take it anywhere. I can go from my house to my walk, back into the car and listen to it.
The sound's better, it doesn't drop out.
Stream 5AA in crystal clear sound at the touch of a button, wherever you are.
Download it now from the App Store.
Clarity is fantastic.
I love it. It's great.
While the world's best cyclists battle it out, be part of the festival atmosphere and get around all the events happening in South Australia as part of the Santos Tour Down Under. From premium experiences to street parties and live music, South Australia comes alive. Tour the festival with celebrations across the state, from the coast to the vines. Go beyond the race and experience it all at the Santos Tour Down Under, January 17th to 26th. tourdownunder.com.au.
SA's biggest cover-up has just been uncovered. Who's at the centre of it?
Walco, of course. Summer is here, and so is the time to get your new Walco pool blanket. Made from quality materials right here in SA, a Walco pool blanket will keep your pool clean and warm all summer long. Plus, stop evaporation. Uncover the savings now with a Walco pool blanket. Visit walco.com.au today.
Babe, you okay?
Oh, I've got so much to do today and so little time. I've got to go to Spotlight, Beaumont Tiles and House and Garden.
Yeah.
Then I'm meeting Sal at the coffee club. I've got to do the selections with Beacon Lighting, picking up the basketball ring from Rebel Sport and go to Dreamland to look at the new bed.
Oh, easy. Just go to Jeb's Cross Home HQ. They have all of that.
Oh, yes! Jeb's Cross Home HQ, of course. You're a lifesaver. Bye!
Oh, can you grab something from Anaconda for me?
Yep, got it.
Want a deal on a new VW? At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, it's easy and you don't have to wait. Their 2024 plate clearance has started early. That means you can pick your dream Volkswagen. Easy. Check out the range of new and demo Volkswagens on sale now. All stock is ready for immediate delivery so you can pick up an early Christmas present. Plus, we have easy finance options and next day servicing. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's 2024 plate clearance. You better be quick. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city.
Hi, Daniel Talley here, General Manager of Home. That's HAUME. Put simply, we buy homes. We're not agents, we don't charge fees, there's no advertising, none of that. We just make the process of selling your home easy. It means you don't have to spend a cent or any of your valuable time getting it ready for sale. We'll buy your home as is and at market value. It's pretty straightforward. Thinking of selling stress-free? Visit home.com.au. That's haume.com.au.
When your youngest finishes school and pick up and drop off become a distant memory. When the neighbours no longer have loud music to complain about. When you wake up and fall asleep to the sound of silence because the kids have flown the nest. If only it happened sooner. Semi-retirement, disposable income and infinite time to spend it. You're a super consumer. If you run a business that'd like to reach the consumer we call the trifecta, speak to us here at 5AA.
Live, local. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
5AA Afternoons with Angie McBride.
It is 24 minutes to 4, 8223 0000. KG, no, not KG. See, it's normally I'm here on a Saturday. I know. Just rolls off. It's funny how you say things automatically, isn't it? Yeah. I do anyway. Timmy G, Rowan, Sam Tugwell.
There's a G in there.
There is a G in there.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. In after 4 o'clock with a sports show. If you just tuned in, you've heard, who's this person with you? It's Themis Cressidas from On the Menu. I don't know. I don't know how to introduce you, as you're a man of many talents. So you've joined me today. Thank you very much for doing that. So if you want to tune in to the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, you can see what Themis looks like. Look, you're there on the screen.
Oh,
hey, everybody.
Guys. Hello.
And before the end of the show, we'll give away the family pass to Santa's Wonderland. Just be a part of the show. Everyone's talking about Santa's Wonderland. It's on at the Adelaide Showground until Christmas Eve. Book online and save, santaswonderland.com.au. We were talking food waste, zero waste. We want your suggestions. Glenn from Valley View, hello.
Good afternoon. I have a couple views on food waste. The first one that I deal with is that I grow a lot of the vegetables myself. So my front yard is growing vegetables. My backyard is obviously vegetables for myself. If people take vegetables from the front yard, that's good, but nobody does. The excess ones I have a basket right alongside my letterbox. I put, well, this morning was just 2 cucumbers and a couple cobs of corn. One cucumber went and 1 cob of corn went. Now that goes back in my fridge after a short period of time out there. The other day I walked around, I had 8 cucumbers that was excess. I walked around the block, got rid of 8 cucumbers.
Good on you, Glenn.
Yeah, good on you. We love it.
All the tops and all that sort of stuff just goes back into the garden. I've got chooks, so all scraps and everything like that. It just keeps on getting recycled into my yard. I don't send anything other than weeds to the green bin. The second view that I have on waste is that people don't want to eat misshapen vegetables. So the carrot with three legs, they don't want to eat. Tomatoes with a little bit of sunburn on, they don't want to eat. You can just cut that off and give to your chooks.
See, that's confusing to me, Glenn, because I don't discriminate against
No, me either.
veggies because they taste the same, don't they?
Do you eat the three-legged carrot, Glenn?
Yeah, I do. I cut those little bits off, and that went into my, like baby carrots. The bit that was nice and solid, that got grated up for my cold slaw, and then obviously the stalks went out to the chooks. So
Very good.
But the supermarkets, they discriminate against it. So if you're a farmer and you're growing this stuff, if it's not 100% perfect, where does it go?
Yeah, you're right, Glenn. But what about the people that sit there? We stand there and we touch and we look and we feel and we're looking for perfection because we Google a strawberry and it should be in the love heart and it should be perfectly bright red and so forth. Aren't we all just, and I agree with you, but I feel like the consumer is also driving this as well. When we sit at the aisles and we look for perfection, my logic is simple. If it's in season, it's good to go, basically.
Yeah. We should have more like small little markets where growers come along and take their produce every day, and at the end of the day you go through and you're going to say, right, I want some carrots. Well, all the real good stuff will go, the seconds will be the last to go, but everything will be sold. If you're struggling, a 20-cent carrot is just as nutritional as a $1 carrot. So, that's how we can help struggling people. Yeah. We don't have to be giving stuff away. Everything can have a value, but we should be having like a central market every single day at the end of your street or something like that. Where we used to have 4 square stores, we should have a store where you can just go at the end of your day, walking past, pick up your produce. If it's not sold that day, guess what? It's really cheap next morning.
Yeah, you're right. You're onto something, Glenn. I agree. It is worth noting, though, that the Paraka Farmers Market, the Paraka markets, and the wholesalers and so forth, they do work really closely with various organisations, whether it's Oz Harvest or Food Bank, to ensure that this food that maybe isn't perfect and that's not going to hit the supermarket stores, to ensure that it doesn't go to landfill, but it does go to those people in need as well. But I think you're onto something. One of the points I wrote down here on my sheet, Angie, was sharing is caring, and rather than letting it go to waste, if you've got a bit of excess, share it around with a neighbour or somebody as well.
Glenn, for doing that and for being such a great neighbour, I'm going to give you a Wallace Cinema Family Pass so you can take yourself along to the movies. All right, so I'll pop you back to Patrick and he'll send you a message through. Catch a movie this week. What was the one, the Lord of the Rings one, Shane said is worth seeing for sure, and there's Gladiator 2 and Wicked. The Wicked sing-along's coming up. Go to Mitcham, Piccadilly, Mount Barker, or Noarlunga, wallace.com.au. Yeah, with that whole thing, Themis, so we do that in my friend group, because my friend's got chickens. I'm very lucky at this time of year. You get an abundance of chickens. So I give her, some of my tomatoes that I grow, or eggplants are almost ready.
Yeah, great.
So
do you trade? A bit of trading is a good idea as well. trade an eggplant for an egg.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But there was a little bit where I had way too many eggs, so I was looking up recipes and then I figured you can make your own mayonnaise quite easily with eggs.
Super easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
So what do you do in your neighbourhood? 8223 0000. Helen says you cannot keep food for too long after cooked. And who's that guy with you? That guy with me is Themis Crasidas. Okay, so the rule because we were talking to Terrell Pilgrim about her book about food waste. So what's the rule? And this is sort of a rule maybe we'll probably chat to SA Health before Christmas as well, not leaving food out too long. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really paranoid with food safety. Mm-hmm. So let's say, Terrell might have had cooked everything for Thanksgiving. You serve up your plates, Themis.
Yep.
Do you pop it back in the fridge or freezer straight away and it lasts longer? And it doesn't have salmonella.
So the truth is, what we shouldn't be doing to avoid things like, foodborne illness, what we shouldn't be doing is letting food cool down slowly, essentially. And I think what a lot of people do is they leave the food on the table or they leave the food to cool down on the stove top or whatever it might be. And what happens is we know that food actually is in the danger zone between 5 and 60 degrees, okay? And that's the rate at which bacteria grows the fastest. So bacteria needs the right temperature, and it needs oxygen, and it needs water to grow. So if you've got a food that's sitting between 5 and 60 degrees for too long, at that time, that's when the bacteria starts to grow more rapidly. So if you are cooking something, the best thing you want to do is take that food and put it into the fridge and let it cool down in the fridge, because that reduces the likelihood of it spoiling so quickly as well, and it means that it spends less time in that danger period of 5 to 60 degrees. And don't cover it either. Leave it uncovered for a while, because with the condensation builds up on the cling film or whatever you're using, and that basically provides water for bacteria to grow in.
So what's the danger zone? Longer than 2 hours? Longer than 3 hours?
So there's a rule called the 2 and 4 rule, basically. Okay. It's a very basic rule, but ultimately, if you've had food out of the fridge for 2 hours, up to 2 hours, you're good to go, and you can basically cook it and put it back in the fridge and whatever you like. If this food's been out for 4 hours, you can put it back in the fridge. If it's been out for over 4 hours, basically don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in where I live, Themis, we're in a group of 7 units, and we're considering there are 7 units. We put out more green waste now than rubbish, which I'm really proud of.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Everyone's
that's a cultural shift there as well, right? That's really important.
Yeah. And what we do I bought a bin for the bottles, and people put the 10-cent bottles in. I go and take them in, and then that pays for stuff around the front, whether it be lights or the gardener or something like that too. So
absolutely.
Did you want to say something about?
No, I just want to make sure I'm clear on that 2 and 4. I don't know if I said that correctly before, but less than 2 hours the food can be used or put back in the fridge. 2 to 4 hours the food should be used, but don't put it back in the fridge. And over 4 hours, like I said, just throw it away.
Okay. Hey, and also speaking of that, food waste and all sorts, the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare have just released their report today. Living with overweight or obesity overtakes tobacco as the new burden of disease risk factor. I thought in the past heart disease was at the top, but that's changed. Have you got the stats there, Themis?
I found this quite interesting, Angie, because it basically made it sound like the obesity is increased within our population, and I'm not sure that it necessarily has, because what the stats did say, if you read a bit further, was that tobacco use has fallen by 41% since 2003. So in the last 20 years, tobacco consumption is reduced by 41%. And all that says to me is, okay, well, even if obesity has stayed where it is, we know that 2/3 of Australian adults are overweight or obese, and I think 50% of children is almost the stat as well. But the reality is, what it's telling me is that this reduction in diseases for other diseases such as tobacco use is working, and we simply aren't tackling obesity, the obesity epidemic, as people like to call it. We aren't tackling it the right way, and maybe we aren't having the conversations we need to have, and we need to rethink how we tackle obesity. And obviously there's a lot of legislative change that's taken place, and pricing and so forth has certainly impacted tobacco use. I'm not suggesting that we start, increasing the price of a meat pie overnight tonight because it's worked with tobacco consumption. But, we need to maybe rethink. We should look at what we've done with tobacco and consider how it might be able to benefit obesity.
So what it says here, while Australians are living longer on average, years lived in ill health are growing, resulting in little change in the proportion of life spent in full health. So obviously this puts pressure on medical services. So as a dietitian and someone that works in the restaurant industry, what do you get frustrated about when, let's say, I mean, obviously, you know, we get, like you just said, needs to be the government need to come up with some kind of message, but from a people point of view, and if you're dealing with clients, what's your frustration when it comes to diets and obesity? And
yeah, I think for me it's there's no one-stop shop. There's no one solution for everyone when it comes to obesity. At the end of the day, though, the reason why Sprout exists is because I was sitting there talking to people across the desk, trying to inspire change, trying to create behaviour change. The only way that you adjust someone's health and their lifestyle is by adjusting their lifestyle, especially in the form of a modifiable risk factor such as food. So for me, I was sitting there talking to people, you know, just across the desk, saying, right, I need you to start eating more of this. I need you to cook more of this, and so forth. And then I realized really quickly that these people who I'm talking to simply don't believe they can even cook this dish that I'm suggesting they cook, or they don't know what that food is. They haven't tried that piece of fruit or whatever it might be. So that's the reason why Sprout exists, because I just realized we needed to get people in the kitchen connecting with cooking, and whether they're cooking healthy or unhealthy food in the kitchen, the truth is you're empowered to understand what you're putting in your body. Whether you cook the brownie or whether you cook the stir fry, you know what's going into that, and you're then in a position to understand whether or not you should eat it, or not even whether or not you should eat it, how much of that thing you should eat, because we all enjoy a piece of brownie, but it helps you understand what you're putting into your body. So for me, I actually like the messaging to be less negative. I like the messaging to be less don't eat this or don't do this. I want messages to be much more positive. And we just, truly, Angie, if we all just drank more water, we ate more vegetables, we ate more fruit, and we moved a little bit more, those are really some simple modifiable lifestyle, changes we can make that would impact our health positively.
Before we go to the break, let's quickly chat to Michelle. What's happening on the roads out there, Michelle?
Hi. I'm on the Southern Expressway heading south. There's a big aluminium ladder in the middle of the road, in between the second and third lane, just before the Panelatinga exit, which you need to swerve around. So I have reported it to police, and they're going to sort it out. But in the meantime, it sort of comes up out of nowhere. You just got to go around it without.
Goodness me. Okay, so that's heading south down the expressway. What? It was in the middle lane, did you say?
It's in between the second and third lane. There's a three-lane area there.
Wow, thanks for that warning. That's so if people are driving down there, just drive slowly and swerve the ladder. Thank you, Michelle.
No worries, thanks.
Thank you so much. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and chat to Rowie on what's on the sports show today. We'll wrap it all up.
SA cricketing legend Wayne Phillips joins Rowie and Timmy each week on the FIVEAA Sports Show. Catch Flipper with his spin on the summer of cricket, thanks to Budget Car and Truck Rental for utes, vans, trucks, trailers, buses and more. Call 13 27 27.
Family coming over for Christmas? Backyard need a little TLC? See Garden Grove. With pavers, mulches, soils, barks, building materials and hardware, Garden Grove have the Christmas garden you want. Garden Grove, Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to all areas.
Health Fund members, visit OPSM before December 31 to save 50% off lens extras with a new pair of frames and lenses. OPSM accepts all health funds and most claims can be processed on the spot. T's and C's apply. See website for details. OPSM, all about your eyes.
After weeks of waiting for my husband to attempt to fix our leaking shower, I decided to call in the professionals. MegaSealed fixed my shower for a lot less than I thought and didn't just repair the surface of our tiles. They applied a waterproof grout and injected a waterproof repairer underneath our tiles without removing them. If you have missing grout or silicone, cracked tiles, stubborn mould, or just want your leaky shower fixed by the professionals, head to megasealed.com.au.
Today we're making Medicare stronger with more investment in bulk billing, enhanced support for mental health and more urgent care clinics. Learn more about Medicare benefits at medicare.gov.au/stronger. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Deliver more with Toyota, the world's #1 forklift brand. Choose from a great range including pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts, right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au.
Get a Toyota forklift.
Meet for a cuppa at Coffeelosophy. Move your body at Hatha Yoga. Invest your wellness at Devar House. Repair your leathers at Ideal Shoe Repairs. Print your family photos at Hutt Street Photos. Stop for an aperitif at Bar Torino. Order lunch at Chianti. Spice up your senses at Ragi's. Grab a classic pub meal at Arab Steed Hotel. Sip your favourite at Hutt Street Cellars. Whatever your reason, Hutt Street is worth the visit. After all, it's your corner of the city. The best corner of the city.
Need a new fridge or freezer before Christmas? Right now at Harvey Norman, get the best deal, plus bonus local delivery before Christmas on selected in-stock fridges and freezers. That's right, bonus local delivery before Christmas guaranteed. Save $700 on LG French door fridge with ice and water dispenser, plus bonus local delivery. Don't miss more hot deals on big brands. Plus, if it's in stock, we'll deliver it before Christmas guaranteed. Hurry, offer ends Sunday at Harvey Norman. Best brands, best range, best prices. Conditions and exclusions apply.
Everyday items locked in at low prices for longer. There's more ways than ever to save at Foodland.
5AA Afternoons with Angie McBride.
It is 7 minutes to 4, and what is happening after 4 o'clock? Rowie and Timmy G. Rowie's here. Well, I need to say this. If people want to tune into the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, you'll be there in all your glory. I like your hat too.
Yeah, that's complete windscreens, little red koala.
Oh, nice.
Might have been
20
Norwood.
Road Prospect. Femis, how are you?
Good, buddy. Very good.
Christmas, you'd love Christmas, wouldn't you?
Always. It's
Cooking up a storm.
Greek family, lots of food, fun, everyone, absolutely.
You know I'm Stavros.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Absolutely. What
Let's
a name.
talk sport, because everyone rolls their eyes when I just get... I've got to stay on my lane. I've been told to stay on my lane.
Timmy G's not here to keep you on the straight and narrow.
I'm not in any lane here.
Yeah, well,
We'll just do whatever lane you want.
It's best not to be in a lane.
Correct.
Who wants a lane?
No.
My dad said the secret to parenting is keep the kids on the train tracks. Oh, I couldn't wait to get derailed. You know, your train, if it keeps going straight, it can go up and down, in and out, in tunnels, comes out the other, and it's in light, dark, but just... Son, keep them on the train tracks.
How'd you go with that?
Well, I've got 3 kids. One of them's completely derailed. The 2 going right.
Hey,
Anyway.
just before you do what you're going to talk about, I want to give away a Santa's Wonderland family pass, 8223 0055. It's on at the showground until Christmas Eve. Book online and save santaswonderland.com.au. Few things happening in sport, though.
My daughter's taking my grandson there tonight.
Oh, nice.
Well, actually, they're probably there now.
Yeah,
She's
it's good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Make sure you get there. Well done. Striker skipper Matt Short, the first home game is Friday week, 20th of December. We'll have him on. Flipper, that's Wayne Phillips, our very own, 5AA.
Yes, we know him
the
well.
third test starts Saturday. You into your cricket?
I don't mind a bit of cricket. Didn't get to the test. It wasn't on long enough.
Oh, no. 2.5 days.
Really?
Yeah, Flipper will preview that. We're thinking their best bowler, this is they being India, his name's Jasprit Bumrah. He's a bit chubby. He's probably been eating too much Greek food. And he's done a lower limb or upper limb, some sort of limb.
Mhm.
He might not be able to bowl.
That's probably a good thing for us.
That is magnificent news for us because he is world class. Jordan Dawson is the Crows captain. We'll speak to him about he's the ambassador for Blitz Golf. Every sport now has to be T20. Do it quickly. They have short course swimming. They have no, I'm a traditionalist.
It's because they can't keep the kids like yours on the rails. They've got attention spans not long enough.
Exactly right. And we're asking 8223 0000. The AFL fans voted the best game of the year, and it was the Port Adelaide v Hawthorn semi-final. And coming in at number 3 was round 10, Port Adelaide beating Hawthorn in that miraculous. So they were 2 of the top 3.
good.
They were both cracking games.
Good.
Mine was the Crows. They were 0-4 going into the Carlton game away, who were 4-0. We couldn't draw you a footy. We won by 2 points.
Came back that match
That's
too.
exciting, isn't it?
Good work.
I remember.
Yes, we did. We
Yep.
kicked the last 3 goals of the game. Should never have won. Berry comes off as sub, never kicked a goal, kicks at that footer.
Are you touching on the World Cup? Saudi Arabia got that one. Touching on that
contest.
Yeah, I know.
So no one bid it against them.
Well, they brought the closing date by 2 years forward, so no one could.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I'll support it if I would have said you can have it if you host the Women's World Cup as well.
Yeah.
And women's
Yeah,
rights in Saudi Arabia improve. I would tick it. I don't think they will.
I think there are other factors potentially determining the success of that one.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'll
Roy.
stayed out of my lane.
No, that we love having you out of the lane.
Before.
Thank you. We'll definitely tune in. We are out of here. Themis, thank you so much for coming in. It's been great. You're going to come in next week.
I will. You have me back?
Yes, please.
Excellent.
Yeah,
it's been fun.
Yeah, no, we'll let you back in the door. No problems. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Patty. Thanks, Jess. We will do it all again tomorrow.
Adelaide Central Plaza is giving you the chance to win an Audi Q3 Sportback 35 from Solitaire Automotive. Shop this Christmas at Adelaide Central Plaza for your chance to enter when you spend $150 at David Jones.